Yeah, so I heard you were reading some Vogue article.
Yeah, so there's this Vogue article I wanted Diana to give me her opinion about, and it's called, like, and everyone's talking about it, and it's called, Is Having a Boyfriend Make You a Loser? Is
Something
that what
like
it?
that.
Yeah. I don't want to get the name wrong, and then people get mad.
And then people is having a boyfriend embarrassing
Is
now?
having a boyfriend embarrassing now?
And it's written by Shantae Joseph.
And it kind of explores the idea of people... I call it soft launching your relationship, where, like, they won't post a picture of their boyfriend, but they'll post, like, his hand on the steering wheel. And, like, I feel like this is very, like, generic. Like, people do that. And I was thinking of, like, my own personal experience of, I don't think I've posted anybody who I was, like, dating for, like, 10 years. And I do feel, because there's people who said that it's, like, being superstitious, and okay. I feel that way. Like, I would never post anything just because, one, I don't want to look like I'm, like, really into this person, and then, like, they're not into me, and then, like, I have this, like, digital history.
Right, or a digital footprint of some... Well,
What did you feel about dating your husband and posting about him for the first time?
So, I feel like my Instagram...
is different
feed
than
is different. Yeah, like mine's like a very specific thing. Like mine was never personal in the sense that like I would post about like events in my life or
right. You don't post about everyday things. You do post every day, but it's about your dancing.
Yeah, like it's just
your movements.
It's essentially like an archive of my improvisations. Like that's what my Instagram is. Every now and then I will post maybe like a story showing something I did, but I've always been a little private about, like, my personal life on social media in general. And maybe, like, to an extent...
I know, because I'm trying to think, like, have you ever, besides... Did you post about your wedding? Like...
there's, like, a wedding video of me dancing.
Yeah.
So it shows, like... It's clear that I've got married, but it's through dancing.
Yeah.
It's not, like... me and my boo.
So are you embarrassed to be in a relationship because you haven't posted?
Well, apparently I'm embarrassed to be in a relationship with anyone. Family, friends, significant others. Like, the only thing I'm fully confident in is, I guess, my dancing. But, like...
Well, you know, you're obviously married and I'm single. And I feel like one of my favorite things about you is how I know you want me to find somebody. Like, I know that you're very much like, oh, I just, like, want you to find somebody, like, who you, like, you know, you like and, like, they like you back.
Right.
Because that's important, too.
Yeah.
But there's this really funny thing that you do, and I don't think you know you do it. But any guy that I interact with, if we're out and I say, oh, excuse me, on the subway, you give me this look and you're like, what about...
Maybe he's the one.
What about him? Like, what about him? And you point out the most generic thing as... They're like, you're like, well, you know, he has teeth, Melanie. Like, you know, he has teeth. Like,
he has a good smile, and he looked at you.
He has a smile.
He acknowledged your presence.
Yeah, like, and I'm like, okay, that's all it takes, I guess. Teeth and a smile.
I think I saw too many rom-coms as a kid, where it was like, love is right around the corner. Like, just if you look and you just make an interaction, like, that could be it. And I think...
No, I don't know. No.
You know?
No.
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 No?
No.
Maybe?
No. Maybe?
Maybe a little bit. No?
No.
No. All right, you heard it from the horse's mouth here.
Hi everyone, I'm Melanie.
And I'm Diana.
And we're two queens in a pod.
Yes, and we are two queens from Queens, giving you the Queen's perspective. And today... we are going to bring you back in time to the Blizzard of 1996.
We geared up for this. I mean, you were going to probably wear that hat anyway, because you do, but I don't usually wear a hat, so...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt right. Also, I didn't feel like fixing my hair.
Oh, okay, yeah.
It's just easier this way.
Yeah, all right. Well, I feel like I kind of look like the Home Alone guy, the burglar.
The burglar?
Yeah, like, I feel like that's what I look like.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I think this is me, like, officially... coming out as a Knicks fan.
We did a whole episode about the Knicks.
But, like, I wasn't, like... That was, like, the soft launch. This is, like, the casual, like, everyday...
So do you think it's embarrassing being a New York Mets fan?
Knicks fan? No, I don't think so. I'm excited about it. I was trying to go back
to the thing that we just did about the Vogue. And,
and then is it embarrassing to shout out your team? Well, now I'm feeling a little embarrassed.
Yeah, you should be. So a little bit about the Blizzard of 96 before we get really into it. It was a severe nor'easter that pretty much paralyzed the entire east coast of the United States, dropping up to 4 feet of snow in some places. It lasted from January 6th to January 8th of 1996. Wind gusts were about 50 miles per hour, so they would cause these big snow drifts that were up to 10 feet. What made this historically significant was the Arctic pressure from the top came down, and then the climate from the... We'll go into it a little bit more. But it was the perfect reaction for this almost once in a century type blizzard.
Like a perfect storm, which is like...
And the last thing before we get into things is this was one of only 3 snowstorms that were rated a 5, which is extreme, on the Northeast Snowfall Impact Scale.
Category 5. That's intense.
It didn't say category, though. It just said 5.
Oh, really?
But I guess that makes sense.
Yeah,
it's a category 5.
Because I guess you sort of put this in... This is almost like the opposite of a hurricane in the sense, right? Like, it's a cold hurricane.
It's a cold hurricane.
A hurricane is like hot weather, and then like, I guess
This is hot weather and cold weather mixed.
Which is what caused it to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like essentially, to your point, what you were saying earlier is that there was cold air coming from Canada, which was pushing down. Meanwhile, at the same exact time, warm weather was pushing up from the Gulf of Mexico, and then it just sort of just became chaos. Absolute chaos.
All science aside, you know, when you grow up, the one thing that you watch is the weather report, right? Like when you're watching, your parents are watching the news and like the weather comes on, like when you're a kid, you're like, oh, I want to know, like that sounds so cool.
Yeah.
So I remember my first year in college, you had to take all these like elective courses, which pretty much like you could choose whatever. Like that would be like Harry Potter literature, you know, like it's like those classes that you just take.
Yeah.
And one of them was like
to fill out your credits, like
your
general education.
Yes, general education. And one of them was like meteorology. And I was like, oh my God, I always wanted to know about weather. It was so hard. I barely made like a C- in that class because it's all science.
Yeah.
Like, it's all like science terms and like it was so hard.
Yeah,
Don't
I couldn't
recommend
imagine. I could see like being intrigued by it, and then once you sign up, be like, oh man, I'm just taking a science
I'm
class.
just taking a science.
That's what I left high school for.
All over again. Yeah.
It's like earth science all over again. Oh man, at least they didn't make you take a Regents or anything.
Just the final that I most likely didn't pass.
Okay, yeah, this is one thing, because like one thing I realized in all of this is, as obviously a 7-year-old, I was very like egocentric in this understanding of a blizzard.
No,
you know what I mean?
We were both still 6.
We were babies. We'd be babies.
You weren't
at the
even
time.
7 yet.
No, right?
Yeah, you're 6.
True. No, I was 7.
No, your birthday's in April.
Yeah.
So you would be 6.
No, because we were born in 89.
Right.
If I was born in 1990, I'd be 6. But I was born in 1989, so I was 7. If I'm doing the math correctly. Like 90, 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96.
No, it doesn't make sense yet because... No, that's not true.
It's true.
Because it's 2026 and I'm still 36. I'm not going to be 37 until the end of this year. Correct. And you're not 37 until April.
Yes, but the blizzard of 96. Oh, I know what you're saying. I got you.
Yeah.
Because it was January of 96.
That's what I'm saying.
Thank you. Sorry. You're right. When you're right, you're right. I was 4 months from being 6 years old.
Now I know how your sister felt when like you complained about the age thing about the Grand Canyon.
Okay, yeah, no, you're right. Mm-hmm. When you're right, you're right. Yes. So I was 5. That's wild.
No, you were 6.
Oh, I was about to be 7. All
right, cut. Okay, we were, however old, not old enough to start creating memories. I only have one memory. I'm not one of those people who are like, I remembered the womb. You know, like how some people are like very like annoying about that.
Yeah.
I don't feel like that. I feel like I didn't start making memories until I was like 13. Like I don't know, but I have a distinct memory, and your memory is going to be probably different than mine because I grew up in a house. So our door couldn't open because there was 2 feet of snow. So I remember my mom throwing us out the window to like go play in the snow.
Oh my
And
God.
I remember just like falling like into like a big
pile of snow.
I remember going out the window to get outside. Like that's what I remember.
That's so much. And then that's probably how you had to shovel yourselves out.
I mean,
like,
I didn't shovel, but I was 6.
That's wild.
Maybe 5, maybe 7. We don't know, but
you were 6. That's wild.
Yeah, but do you have any memories?
My major memory, and this was actually something like I just hit up my sister and was like, "Oh, you want to share any memories you have?" And this was a shared memory.
Wow, collectively, like
we both remembered this thing. Yeah. Okay. So we went to the local park, Travers Park, in Jackson Heights. If you know, you know. And there was this slide that had iced over. So when you went down with it, you would go like turbo speed, and it like you would go on it, and it would just like shoot you out into a huge pile of snow. I also remember bringing it more to like a apartment perspective. We didn't have to shovel the snow, like the landlord and like the the superintendent has to like figure that out. And like not a superintendent, just a super. And I remember like walking out and feeling like there was like 7-foot high walls of snow, like just walking through it because the way they had to shovel it out and piling it on. And I remember thinking that. My dad also went skiing. Like, he took out his skis and started, like, skiing in the snow as well.
Okay. Like, to get places? I mean, where are you skiing?
Just to, like, because everything was closed down, so he was just, like, skiing, like, just to do it. Like, just to, like, go on the roads. Because he could, like, and there was enough snow.
Walking, though?
Like, cross-country skiing. Yeah, he wasn't like doing an Olympic.
Yeah, like he's going down the snow drifts. That's what and it's like only 1 second. He's like, woo! And it stops.
And it's over.
Yeah.
No, like cross country skiing. And then another thing I remember is like playing in the snow and like my dad doing this thing where he was like, all right, let's cross the street right here, like in the middle, and like being very specific about telling us we had to cross there. And we're like, okay. And then he took all the snow off of like what do you call the front of the car?
The window.
Like the windshield? Is that right?
Yeah, windshield.
And he just like threw it all in our faces. We were like buried under snow. Oh. So we were just like, a lot of playing in the snow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to go back to this particular snowstorm, Central Park recorded 20.2 inches, which is one of the 4th largest since they started recording, which is in 1869. I'm curious of being like, was there just somebody like, maybe we should start recording how often we get snow?
We should keep track
keep track, yeah.
He was probably like the first, whether he knew it or not, meteorologist.
Yeah.
You know?
No. Because the meteorologist is like a scientist.
But like, he was
like
a primitive.
This is like a writer.
That's what I mean. Yeah. He was like the record keeper.
A record keeper, yeah. 26 states experienced snowfall from this blizzard. I found a random fact that in 1996, all 50 states, not from this blizzard, but experienced snowfall. And then I did Google, does Hawaii experience snowfall? And yes, that's true, if you didn't know.
Interesting. You know what? I saw that this, the blizzard of 96, even Florida got a couple of springs from this
and
storm.
Alabama.
Yeah, like places that would have never gotten it got it.
Yeah, well, when I saw that it was from January 6th to the 8th, I'm like, I don't remember, like, it snowed for 3 days, but it started January 6th in the, like the Gulf and then came up. Yeah. No, we didn't get snow until the 7th.
It started in D.C. It was, like, one of the first ones to get hit towards the end of the day.
Yeah. The snowfall rate was about 2 to 4 inches per hour, which made it basically impossible for snowplows to keep up with it, and that is kind of caused a lot of issues as well because they couldn't plow the streets because once they plowed it, it would just get
right. It made me realize that the slower it snows, the worse it is. Like, it's almost ideal to have like a shit ton of snow come down really quickly because then you could just tackle it.
Yeah, and then it goes away.
And then it's done. Yeah. Now this was just like the slowest snowfall, which made it what it was and made it so hard to deal with.
Yeah, and I didn't know this either, but only a few weeks after, there was an incredible warm system that came in and pretty much melted all the snow that caused incredible flooding all through the Northeast. And I mean, we were going to talk about the fatalities, but like that also included for the fatalities for the blizzard of 96 was because of the flooding that was also like included in it.
Post-storm.
And the damage also was from the flooding because of all the snow that melted.
Yeah. So like it was 2 storms back to back, just like the aftermath of it caused a bunch of chaos as well. Yeah, and essentially, like, if I guess we'll zero in on New York now, and then we'll expand to all the other states. But it was the sixth largest snowfall in New York City history, with the highest being 2016. I am getting amnesia. Do you remember the blizzard of 2016, 10 years ago?
No, I don't remember it being 2016 for some reason, but I know what you're talking about.
Because that was apparently the highest amount ever.
I didn't get that was the highest.
Yeah.
I didn't see that. I looked it up and I didn't see that.
Isn't that crazy though?
No, I don't think that's true. I don't believe
I think it's true.
I don't believe you.
And I can't remember.
I don't know where
like
the facts from.
I think maybe if there was I think if we're comparing 2016 to 1996, 2016 was probably a very fast fall. Like it fell, they cleaned it up, and it was done. It wasn't something that spanned like 3 days.
Okay.
You don't believe me.
No, I don't believe you.
You don't believe that there was a blizzard in 2016.
No, I know there was a blizzard. I don't think it was higher than the 96 one.
Oh, no, yeah.
If that's what you say, that must be it.
That's what it said. But essentially brought the city to a standstill. Public schools were shut down for the first time since 1978. This is a blizzard of 96.
Yeah. So I want to talk about this. This was the only snowfall that had 2 consecutive days. So January 8th and January 9th, schools were closed. It's never happened since then and before then.
Yeah.
And which is pretty much the premise of one of my favorite movies called Snow Day. Did you ever watch Snow Day?
The Nickelodeon one,
yeah.
right? Yeah.
And they try to get a second snow day by unplowing all the streets.
Yeah.
Or like taking down the snowplow man. That movie's amazing. But do you remember as a kid, and like now that would never happen because you could just find on like social media if your school is closed, but the anxiety of looking at the news and waiting for your school to be like on the bottom listed. Well, because were you in public school your whole life?
Yes.
Okay, so it was a little bit different. Well, not really, because Mary Lewis was private.
Private, and that was a whole different scenario.
Yeah, but they would still list them if it was a private school.
So if it's a private school, they list the name, the name. And they usually wait till the last minute to say, and by the way, New York City public schools are closed too.
And that would be the last thing that would get closed.
That would get listed. Right, it would be the last thing. And so I always remember, as a public school student, just being like, these damn private schools, like, why don't I go to a private school? They always
private
get
school
these snow
always
days.
got shut down.
Yeah.
Yeah, always for like the little snow. But just talking about Mary Lewis in general and like the system to like close the school, we had a chain system. Do you remember this?
Yes, I was just thinking about it.
It was called like a snow chain. And it
was like the first day of school. They were like, now we have to prepare for the snow chain. And this is what your snow chain is. And they would be a list of like who started, and it would be like the teacher. And she would call like Diana. Then Diana would have to call me. And then I would have to call someone else. And I remember like never wanting to call the person that was on my list. So like the person would call me, I would never call the other person. Did they ever show up to school?
I don't know.
Oh no.
But like you can't put that responsibility on a child.
Yes, you can. All you gotta do is call them up and be like, yo, there's no school. Bye.
I never wanted to do it. I don't think I ever did.
Really?
Yeah, I think I would just like pretend that I fell asleep.
So you would always break the snow chain?
Yeah, I would always break the snow chain.
That's wild.
Yeah, always, yeah.
That doesn't keep you up at night?
Nah.
Oh my god, that's so funny. I feel like that would work at my soul. I'd be like, I gotta call.
Nah.
So funny. Yeah, but I was just thinking that when you brought up Mary Lewis and Snow Days. But, all right, let's go back to 96.
Okay. All right, yeah, 96. The airports were buried for days.
Yes. There was buses getting pulled off the street.
Trains were freezing in real time.
Yes, elevated subway trains would just stop dead in their tracks.
They were like frozen. There was a lot of trains that derailed. That's not funny. I'm not laughing at that. But like the trains were derailing, which that's insane too.
The Long Island Railroad specifically was like derailing, which like just made it impossible on the days after the storm to just get back to like a normal pace.
Well, I was thinking because they were saying how the airports were closed, so a lot of people were stranded at the airport because they just couldn't get home because the buses and the subways were closed.
Yeah.
But what would you do? What would you do in this scenario, right? They said that this was the most accurately predicted snowstorm. Like they said, like everyone got it right. Like they were like, this is gonna be crazy. Everyone should stay inside, and like actually was crazy. And you know.
Yeah.
Would you go to the airport?
No.
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 There's no way I'd be like, gotta go to the Bahamas, like, right now. Like, I'm gonna skip it. I'm gonna skip the snow. Like,
no. And then, like, even to drive out, like, people were calling this a whiteout, meaning that, like, people were driving in the road and the snow was coming down so crazy that like, they couldn't see and they had to pull over.
Yeah.
And this kind of leads to some of the more, I'm just telling you, up until this research, I just had this, like, beautiful image of the blizzard of 96 and how magical it was and how I felt like I was in a winter wonderland. And now I'm reading this and I'm seeing the blizzard of 96 not from the child's perspective, from like the very logistical adult perspective. And this was chaos.
Yeah, it was chaos.
Going back to what I was saying, there was the whiteout. People had to stop dead in their tracks. People got stuck in their cars and people died of carbon monoxide poisoning because they were just like stuck in their cars getting snowed in on like a highway.
True. And to my point, I mean, I feel kind of want to take back what I said about that the news was, predicting this. But I think back in the day, like, I kind of, like, forget that some people, if you went to work and you came home and you did something other than turn on the TV, you weren't really watching the news.
Right, you didn't know.
Like, there's people who are saying that they completely woke up and were like, oh my God, what is this? Because they were not following what was happening.
Right, they watched a TV show that day instead, But don't you think
they break out the TV. They were not watching TV at all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
because I was just gonna say, even if you weren't watching the news,
television, they'll be like,
that service, and
they'll be like, snowstorm coming,
But if you were someone who was just like reading a book that day and was like, I don't care about the news right now, you were like shocked.
True. Okay. Yeah.
It's not social media.
But yeah, okay. Let's get into the fatalities. If Diana really wants to.
Let's get into the depressing stuff.
Most deaths were from shoveling snow. So
heart attacks.
I knew this for a really long time, that shoveling snow and heart attacks is like really, really bad. Like, I've always known that, and I was like curious to be like, why is that? And it's because when a lot of people who don't do physical weightlifting or anything, these are regular people on the street that need to shovel out their like cars, and they're not really
don't
doing
have a workout regimen on the regular.
So they're overexerting themselves, and two, you're doing this outside in the cold, which I wrote it down. Okay, so the cold air constricts your blood vessels, and it dramatically increases your heart rate and your blood flow. So that causes oxygen to be deprived from your body, and that is the cause of a heart attack. So, like, because of the conditions, not just because of, like, overexertion, because you're in cold conditions, like, increases your rate to, like, crazy amounts.
Yeah.
To get a heart attack.
Yeah. No, it's crazy. Like, I was doing some research and I was seeing this feed of, like, share your memories. I'm sorry.
I was like,
I know. Papa died. It was just so weird because it would be like, I made an igloo. I had the best day of my life. And the next person would be like, my grandfather died from shoveling snow. And I'm like, oh, that got really dark real quick. Like,
yeah,
it's crazy. And I didn't know, like, it's interesting, the science behind it about, like, your body temperature and how it all, like, why it's more likely.
Well, I remember this is even going to, like, just regular snowstorms, not the blizzard, but, I have a brother, and it's so funny, every time with snowfall, like, him and his, like, band of friends would just get together and just, like, charge people, like, crazy, because he would, like, shovel, like, he would make, like, bank that day because they were just, like, going around shoveling everybody's snow. But I mean, you have to.
You gotta make that money. Seize the opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, I would pay some kid $40 to shovel out my
Why not?
car.
Yeah.
I shoveled out my car before. It's not fun. It's rough.
I've never done it, but it doesn't look like fun.
No, it's rough.
I have no interest in that.
Yeah. And, like, you have, like, these you're not a driver, but, like, driving during the aftermath of a snowstorm is absolutely the worst thing in the world, because you have these man-made spots, and you could only park in those spots moving forward for, like, 3 weeks until the snow melts. So, like, there's only these particular spots because you make, like, these big snow banks.
Yeah.
So parking is cut in half because of that.
Right.
And because of that as well, like, if you park your car, like, you're pretty much, like, parking on top of, like, a snowbank. And there's been so many times that, like, people will pull out and their bumper would be, like, stuck in it.
And,
like,
the back wheels are just spinning.
Yeah,
right?
it's awful.
Because, like, if you don't have, like, a 4-wheel drive,
yeah, you can't just, like, pull
out of it.
Yeah.
And then there's always these images.
Like, there's your bumper. Yeah.
There's these, like, quintessential 90s images of, like, people, like, pushing their neighbor's car outside of like the spot, and I just feel like that's one thing. If we want to go back to the lighter side of things,
it really brings the community together.
It does. Like,
yeah, everybody's coming outside and talking, like being like, oh, what have you been doing down in the snowstorm?
Yeah, like oh, let me help you with your car. Yeah. All right, like oh, your son Jimmy came and he helped me with my.
You have no power. Oh, let me go get my know a boy who has a generator.
Yes, exactly. They were like, oh, send your boy over and have him shovel my driveway. I'll give him a couple bucks.
Yeah,
you know,
give him a couple bucks.
And so there's that whole energy of like a community that's usually pretty siloed and they stay inside. Like everyone sort of comes out and checks in with each other, make sure everyone's okay. I saw this thing, like on a Reddit where this family in Manhattan like went up to 128th Street because they knew there were a bunch of people stuck in their cars, and they helped like dig them out and pull them out of their cars. So like, there's always these moments where you remember the beauty in humanity and how people can help each other and how there is like that humans can do good sometimes.
I think in the general scheme of things, I think people do want to be good people. I think that there is elements of life that corrupt people and like make them go bad. But in a sense like this, I think it's easy that this like life kind of stops and there's no work and there's no, there's no like outside obstacles that are like, okay, well, let me help this guy out. I think we generally want to do good. I mean, I hope so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
It's that whole like, are some people born evil or does the world make them that way?
I guess. But I think mostly the world makes them evil. I'm going to stand by that.
Their circumstances.
Yes.
Yeah.
But going back to the Blizzard. So I lived in College Point. We did a College Point episode about College Point neighborhood and in general. College Point is very isolated. And we've talked about this on the pod. It's a very isolated neighborhood of Queens.
Specifically when it comes to public transportation. Like the train doesn't go there.
Or just getting there. There's maybe 2 streets that are like in and out of College Point when we were younger.
That's true.
We would not get our streets plowed for weeks.
Oh, you were the last on the list.
We were the last on the list. And our streets are about like 5 feet long. Like they're very tight streets. So like even when plows would come, they would just like crash into like all the cars. Oh like it was such a mess. That is like my biggest memory is like never having plowed streets, and then when they do come by, like knocking off like the mirrors of the cars.
I feel like I remember like conversations in high school and like during a snowfall being, oh yeah, like my neighborhood's great, like everything's cleared up, and you're like,
no, it's still the blizzard. I'm still in a blizzard.
It would be like a week after the snow fell, and it would still be there.
Yeah, it was so crazy living there. Yeah.
Yeah. But I think one thing I didn't realize is how much Pennsylvania got hit.
Yeah, I think they always get hit. I mean, they're like mountainy, right?
Yeah, like so you said the snowfall was on January 7th?
Yes.
Like the full fall. They didn't open up schools in Philly until January 16th.
Whoa.
That's how bad they got hit. And they got the worst amount of deaths. They had 80 deaths.
Oof.
And there was like barns were collapsing because like the weight of the snow was like too heavy for the roof.
Yeah, a lot of structures fell because of the heavy snow.
Yeah, and there was like 2 bus crashes in Pittsburgh. Like it was pretty crazy what happened there. And I was just shocked. And I think they got it like over 30 feet too. So I was just like, I think there's some. I wonder if after that they were like, all right, let's kind of reinforce our roofs here a little bit, you know?
There was a building that collapsed in New Jersey, and I was watching a bunch of little clips.
Me too,
today,
in Elizabeth,
and it was an unemployment building, but thankfully no one was working that day. Do you get it? Because it's unemployed.
It's an unemployment office. Okay. Yeah, I think I watched that same exact clip because like I wanted to see New York news, but they kept bringing up Elizabeth and this roof.
Like, that was like the biggest thing in the news was like this building that fell down, but nobody passed away there, thankfully. But yeah.
And then apparently like Hoboken was completely shut down. Like they just closed down the city. They were just like, no one come here. It's chaos. Like we are under snow. There's no mobility here.
Talking about like College Point and then Hoboken also only has like 2 ways to get into it. Like it's a very isolated town as well.
Yeah. So those towns are not gonna get like the attention right away, and they're gonna suffer a little bit longer and like more intensely. But yeah. The Blizzard of '96.
How do you feel about not not really having snowfall like that anymore? And I'm not saying that I want that, but it was brought up because of the 30-year anniversary. If this would ever happen again. And meteorologists said it's highly unlikely that it will happen again because, like, our states are so much warmer now. They're about, like, 3 degrees warmer than they were on 30 average. Years ago. Yeah. But we were talking how it's really hard to have a blizzard. It's not very easy. You have to have, like, the correct amount of everything going right for that to happen.
Yeah. Or everything to go wrong.
Yeah, right. True. But we never see snowfall like that. Like you're saying, probably the last one was the 2016, the biggest one according to you that ever happened.
It was the highest record.
But that was 10 years ago, and I don't think we've had significant snowfall in the last, 6 years.
No, I mean, like, we've had some, like, really cold spouts or weeks in the winter time, but in terms of dramatic snowfall.
Yeah, like we just had a snowfall, air quotes, last week.
Yeah.
And the snow's all gone. There's no snow.
I feel like what happens now is that, like, it'll be really cold, it snows, and then 3 days later it's like 50 degrees, so then it melts, and you're like, nice. Which I don't mind. Yeah. Like, for me, I love, like, how beautiful the snow looks once it first falls.
And then it can go
But away. I'm, like, very happy. Like, I don't need the yellow snow. I don't need, like, the dirty dirt snow anymore. Like, and I really haven't seen that in a while.
One of my favorite memories, and this is going back to the 2016, big snowfall, but I was living with one of my good friends, a roommate at the time, and our favorite thing during a snowstorm was to go to the local bar. Oh. And it would just be like everyone who like had off from work that day because of snow, and it was like just such a good vibe. And like I miss that. Like I miss that feeling of going to the bar on a very snowy day and like having like a hot toddy or something.
Yeah. I remember, so I must have been in college during this. My friend Kyle and I, like she was going to college at MIT and she was dorming there, and there was a crazy snowy day. And I was the one being like, come on, let's go to, like, a local pub or whatever. And so we ended up, like, taking the train to Biddy Early's down to, like...
all the way down.
Yeah, we went downtown. And we were hanging out there. It was, like, us and maybe, like, 3 other guys. And we were, like, stuck in. And we were having, like, just a night where, like, we were all hanging out and talking to each other. Uh-huh. And there was, like, a dare's like, oh, I bet you can't piggyback. You can't give this guy a piggyback ride. And he was like...
To you? Like, you couldn't...
My friend Kyle. There was a bet that she couldn't piggyback him. And she did, and she, like, ran up across the bar. And, like, I don't know, just, like, crazy kind of community building in some ways. Yeah. But I do remember on our way back, we're going down the steps, and we, like, slipped and fell. And, like, we were okay. The snow got us, but, like... It was one of those days where we were just, like, laying down, like, on really dirty subway snow, and we just, like, didn't care.
And just sort of, like, just, like, laughing hysterically
Just laughing hysterically, like, one of those days.
Yeah. And, like, I feel like when we were, like, never say now, but, like, when we have, like, a big snowstorm, and I was living with roommates, it would be, like, not, like, did you get the eggs and the bread? It'd be, like, did you get the wine and the liquor, and, like, and what things. Do we need to, like, get through this together?
Right. That kind of early 20s, like, priority.
Yeah, priorities, yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I kind of would say, before researching this, I'd be like, oh, I miss it. But now I kind of feel like I'm really okay with not having all that destruction.
Yeah.
That sounds
It was cute. The snow that you kept complaining about that you were in Puerto Rico for and you missed.
Oh, yeah, I totally missed it. How was it?
That was very cute. It was very cute. It came in... And it left, and it didn't do anything to anybody.
I want a cute snowfall.
Maybe it did something to somebody, but not
cute.
Me.
Well, another thing, too, that makes me very not excited about a big snowfall is that now it's not possible to have a snow day anymore.
Because everything, you could be remote.
Right. So, like, if there is a school closure, it's really not. It's just a physical school closure, and then it's digitally open. Imagine this, a generation of kids who will never know what a snow day is.
They always can watch the Nickelodeon version of Snow Day featuring, I don't know who the actors are on that show.
I think it's the girl from Harriet the Spy. Oh.
No. That's another redhead. I think the only big star in that is... If you watch Entourage.
Yes.
You know, E's girlfriend, like the girl that he's been with for like the whole.
At the end, like,
he's in it, but at the beginning too.
Yes,
yes. She's in it. She's the love interest.
Oh, right.
Like he's obsessed with her, and like he keeps trying to like show his like affections for her.
See, and that's why it's not cool to have a boyfriend, according to Vogue.
You heard it here first.
Because movies like that hyped it up too much.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
And goodbye. Adios.
Bye.